filling up your lighthouse. So I had initially heard this as like filling up your cup, right? It's like we can't give from an empty cup. We can try, but there's just like a little drop of water. We've talked about this in previous webinars. So we're giving, but the value of what we're able to give, the productivity of what we're able to give is just marginal to what we could, as opposed to giving from a full cup, giving from an overflowing cup where you feel filled up and it's spilling out. So that's been helpful for me and others to have that concept, but I really feel like this lighthouse concept takes it to the next level. And this concept is that when our cup is filled up, when our lighthouse is filled up, our light is bright and shining, meaning we magnetize the people and the opportunity and the projects. We magnetize them to us that we're meant to do here on our path of purpose, passion, and cash. So when we're that bright light up, the ships that are sailing around, imagine there's a fog all around the lighthouse, they can still see the light through the fog and move towards you. So how do we fill up our lighthouse? This is things we've talked about before is, what do you do in the morning that just makes you happy? What do you listen to that just makes you happy? And even like taking a step back from the podcast and the personal development and all this, like all that progress stuff is great. And we'll get to that. Yet also what just makes you happy? What puts a smile on your face, even if it's not productive, even if there's not an outcome to it, even there's not something attached to it, a result, it just makes you happy. What do you feel curious to read? What do you feel curious to explore, to watch, that just makes you feel like you're being filled up, like your charge level for your lighthouse is rising and rising and rising until your energy, your body just feels like it's buzzing, it's bright and shining. Certain meditations as well, and creation. And then as you do that, then what are the things do you feel naturally called to create, come through you? And again, it doesn't have to be attached to any results-based things. It's just life moving forth through you, the creative life force. So this concept has been very powerful because what I've noticed when I was talking with others is like when we're feeling all bright and shiny, boom, it feels like we're bright. But if we don't fill up our cup, if we don't fill up our lighthouse, if we don't increase our charge level, fill up our charge level, then it's like our light is just a flicker. It's just a tiny little baby flicker, baby Yoda flicker. And so what happens to the ships? They're going throughout the fog and they're on the sea. What happens? Do they see the little flicker? No, they just keep passing by. That's the opportunity, the people, the projects, the money, the support, the team members, the people, all these things just pass us by. And I've absolutely felt that, and that's part of me, learning and determining these nuances here. So when we have that flicker, God, it's just totally out of the flow. It's completely out of the flow. And we can try and flicker harder, but it's not going to do anything. Nobody's going to see it. And so our energy is dull. So what does that look like in real life? It means that we show up to a call, it's just dull energy. We show up to our work, dull energy. We show up to an event, dull energy. And instead of having that snap, crackle, and pop, shiny, bright energy, that's magnetic. And it's like there's two diverging paths. There's us as the dull little flicker, a shell of ourselves, and there's us bright and shiny lighthouse beaming out. So this has been topic of conversation this week. And so that's what I invite you is to see how this resonates with you. And I know for myself, I still fight that part of myself that's like, you should be working you should be like typing every second of the day. You should like sending this, sending that. Instead of saying, okay, filling up our lighthouse, that is key work. And it's actually, I'm going to say some of the most productive work we can do, because when you have the bright, shiny energy, opportunities come to us, things happen, support is there, things move. But when we don't, it's rough. So Let's see if there's anything else on this piece. Filling up your lighthouse. So I'd say what I invite you to do is just make a little note. What fills up your lighthouse? And guess what? It can change for us week to week. We can go through different periods. We can go through different seasons of things. So this is flexible. And this is not about having a 72-point morning routine. This is not about that, where you have to do all these things, check off all these boxes before you can, start your day. My feeling is that it's just simple. What's one or two, maybe three things that really light you up and that you can do in the morning, so that when you go to work, when you go to your team, when you go to your focus, boom, bright, shiny light. And how can we maintain that light too? Maybe some days are more demanding than others, and we need to, have a little quick charge up session. I do that with the meditation apps. Like, what is that for you? So we can always be bright and shiny. And I have a mentor who told me this, by the way, and he said, shout out to Joseph Severson. He was saying that you always want to have at least 3/4 of the charge level. He was using different words because we didn't have this lighthouse analogy at this time quite in this precise, simplified way. It was basically like, you don't want to get to empty. You don't even want to get to 1/4. You don't even want to get to 1/2, but you want to have your empty as 3/4, because that means you're always shining at enough level that things are being magnetized to you. That's what he told me. So that's the topic of the week. And this is what we're going to do, is get into the subconscious release of anything that's preventing us from filling up our lighthouse, from anything in our subconscious that's slowing us down from filling our lighthouse. Anything that maybe even like the windows around, maybe we were charging it up, but we need to clean the windows around the lighthouse. Whatever that resistance is to shining brightly and magnetizing the people, projects, and opportunities with a sense of ease, that's what we're going to release here. And also, maybe it's an inner journey too. Maybe there's some resistance of, who am I to shine brightly? Or if I shine bright enough, then I'm going to have XYZ attention that I don't want, or I'm going to have a bunch of these opportunities that I don't want. So any resistance on that of being seen in this way, or, I just want to hide in the background, I don't want to be seen like this. Any resistance we have right this, we're going to go ahead and release that so that we can shine in the way that's natural to us. Shining to a star personality on Wealth Dynamics is like their center stage, boom, boom, boom. To say a mechanic or accumulator, that's not the same thing, or we get energy from. So let's shine in our own natural way, number one. Number two, fill up our lighthouse in our own style. And number three, be okay with being seen and recognized and valued for our true gifts.